It's just like when people realize, oh, these stage sort of things, they get clicks. What they're trying to do is just manufacture drama to hook your brain. There's a natural part of our brain that wants to understand, well, what's happening here? What's the beef? Who's in the wrong? That sort of thing. If like a movie star can get their name brought up to a massive level of prominence by writing, juicy storylines and drama for them, like why wouldn't they do that? Okay, so what's the first thing we got here today, Pete?
So let's dive into the thing that everybody's been talking about, and I'm sorry almost to bring this up, guys, but we have to talk about it because it's just too much of an opportunity. I mean, the Will Smith slap. Let's dive in here. So, Mark, what's your take on this?
Oh God. Well, first of all, I feel like I have to explain why I'm talking about this, like right off the bat, because this is just such like tabloid, like bullshit kind of stuff. It's just like, Mark, are you really, is this the stuff you're going to be reacting to? It's like, well, let me actually break this down because there's something more important here at play than just whatever, these, rich people did to each other and whatnot. The thing that I want to talk about actually is the high level media strategy of what I think is going on, because basically, like, I think that slap was totally fake and staged. I'm definitely not the only person who thought that. I mean, here, I think let's just watch it. You can tell me what you think.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight?
Oh,
now,
I don't care about that. Oops, wait, here it is. So what do you think?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think that seemed very fake to me.
Hold on, run it back. Let's take this frame by frame. Okay. Look where the spotlight is.
Well, the spotlight should be on him. He is.
Back it up, though.
What?
Okay. Would you say Chris Rock is in the middle of that spotlight right now?
Well, yeah, he's supposed to be.
Back it up more.
Why?
Richard.
He's walking forward,
Oh, wow.
and then he leans forward
Yeah.
with his hands behind his back. Conspiracy.
I don't know if that's it. It's more just like he might have even slapped him. I think it was just an entirely staged thing. That's what I think. I mean, it looked like it was like pre-rehearsed and whatnot. But the thing, that's not what matters. That's not what I want to talk about, Pete. Okay?
Okay, sorry.
What I want to talk about with this stupid slap thing is that I think the media are trying to, the Oscars are down like some insane percentage. Like no one watches them anymore because they're garbage and no one cares. And I think that what they're trying to do is just manufacture drama to hook your brain. And what they're doing is taking a page out of like WWE wrestling, where they just, have this staged conflict because they know people will talk about it, right? And you want to be impervious to this kind of bullshit manipulation, because I think that this is going to become a mainstay now. I mean, it's always kind of been a part of media culture and whatnot, and celebrity culture where they manufacture drama and whatnot. But I think it's going to become more and more of a set piece to things, probably on the political realm as well. It's just like when people realize, oh, these stage sort of things, they get clicks. That's like where the whole Jesse Smollett thing like came from, Smollett, or however you say his last name. It's like, he's like, oh, this kind of stuff gets clicks. And so this is just going to become more and more of what happens. Now, the problem is, by default, this kind of shit sort of is interesting. Like, even us, like, talking, like, even Pete got sucked in there for a second over whether it was, fake or not. And I did too the first time I saw it. And then it's like, you hear the story around it. It's like, well, they're making fun of his wife and his wife's got alopecia. And then it's like, oh, how dare he? And it's like, well, his wife sleeps with a bunch of other dudes too. It's like, wait a second, what? It's like the drama and the intrigue, where there's a natural part of our brain that wants to understand, well, what's happening here? What's the beef? Who's in the wrong? That sort of thing. By default, it is just enticing to your brain for most people. Some people, they couldn't care less, and congrats to you. But like, chances are it's like, yeah, that's stupid celebrity stuff. No one, that won't get me. Meanwhile, he listens to like 3 hours of talk radio about sports and the drama between sports players and their coaches and shit like that. It's like, we're all susceptible to some kind of drama. And I think what we're going to find is that the people who are less about providing real value, the more they will be about providing this sort of bullshit, sort of distraction, titillation sort of thing. And it's just going to be harder and harder to keep yourself disconnected from it, because they're just going to keep upping the antics and things are going to get wilder. And they're going to, like the people who write Hollywood movies, the writers who make the series that you love, I wouldn't be surprised if they aren't soon employed to help stage shit like this. Like, why not? Really? Like, if like a movie star can get their name brought up to a massive level of prominence by writing juicy storylines and drama for them, like, why wouldn't they do that? Right? It's just going to be the new way that the game's played. It's like the next level. And so how do you keep yourself sane and focused on what matters to you and not get drawn into this stuff? I think it's kind of just like you have to keep sight of like what the magician's trick is here. It's that it's all fake. And even if it's not, assume that it is, because if you do that, if you assume it's all staged, well, then what you're getting is you're getting a like magician up on the stage, like doing something for you, like doing a trick, but you already know how the trick is performed, right? When you're watching a magic act and you don't know what the trick is, it's like, oh, whoa, how did you do that? But when you already know how the trick works, you're just like, nah, okay, and you kind of want to spoil it for the people next to you, but usually you don't. But here's kind of a scenario where you want to. I'm trying to spoil the trick for you. It's all made up. It's all manufactured, and it's just designed to get an emotional rise out of you. And if you notice that, if you acknowledge that, it's going to have far less sway over your life, and you're going to be able to disengage from it and just ignore it, and then just go back to doing the things that actually serve you. And so it's not so much about this one instance, so much as this one instance highlights a trend that already exists and is just going to become more and more and more extreme. And so you got to be on guard for it, or else you're just going to be way more distracted than you want to be.
You just made a really interesting point that hadn't occurred to me. This industry is the industry that gives us all of like this super high level entertainment.
Right.
They're going to be capable of some wild stuff. And I think, and on a serious note, I honestly think that this was a trick that they pulled because the ratings were crap.
Right. I mean, it's literally like the movie awards. That's like what it is. It's like, oh, you don't think Will Smith can act? Of course he can. Obviously, he's an extremely good actor. You don't think he could like be outraged on his wife's behalf? I mean, like, listen, maybe it even was real. Let's say it even was. It doesn't matter, because people are going to see how much attention he got for this, and they're going to try and manufacture it themselves.